Here we are again, boys and girls. Back out in my little hideaway swim. The wind's completely the opposite this week. It's from the north. Oh, croaky throat, but there we go. I was hoping that the swims on that bank would be free, but they're not. And the ones that are free are in sort of complete and utter open sunshine. And tomorrow's forecast is 25, 26 degrees. So I was hoping to be in the wind. It sort of bring the temperature down to about sort of 22 with a bit of a breeze. So I'm probably actually going to find it's hotter here than it is over the far side of the lake, really. But I don't want to sit out in the sunshine because it's just clearly not good for me at all. So we've set up in here again. Similar sort of tactics as before. And wow, the wind's from behind us. It's going to be sort of quite strong on and off over the period, so it's not going to be sort of too bad in the grand scheme of things, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we've got sort of 20-22 miles an hour wind, so we are going to be at the back of the wind looking out over here, so I suppose I'm not going to complain about that. It is nice. So I got down here quite early. I got down here about 8 o'clock, had a good old look round, chat with a few people. Only area I was sort of tempted to go is way far down on the bottom lake on the north bank, but that is just going to cop so much sunshine. I don't know if I'll be able to cope with it. So I've had to sort of back out of that plan and look around in other areas. Clearly can't, no. So it's just, we've seen fish, there's plenty of stuff around here. So it's just, well, you just got to go with what your gut tells you to go with. I think it's going to be more of a struggle this week than it was last week, for sure. If I can manage to wangle one before the weather changes tomorrow, I'm going to be happy. If I don't, it's then going to be a bit of a struggle over the next few days. A slightly different approach to last week, so we shall see if that sort of makes any difference. Then I'm fishing the sort of deeper water, but not sort of too deep, off the edge of sort of a gravel bar, which is where this wind's blowing. If I'm really lucky, it's sort of supposed to come from the north a bit, so might get me deeper out there, and I can actually put a bit of footage on the thing, on the video, which would be quite good, really. It's all about whether the wind blows. If the wind blows the right direction, I'll just flick it out there, not a great deal of disturbance, and just sort of drift over my area, and you can get a picture of whereabouts I'm fishing and what I'm after, really. So we'll see where we go from there. But my croaky voice clearly says it's time for a brew, doesn't it? Or time for some sort of drink of something. A bit early for alcohol, I must say. So actually, I think I've even got to pop home and collect my daughter from climbing club, so that's going to be out for about an hour and a quarter, so not too bad. Come back and then crack on again, so won't be having any of that stuff until tomorrow, really. And then I've got to wait for the kids to come home from school, just in case I end up having to drive, so got to be sensible about these things. Excuse me. But yeah, we're pitched up in there again, all tucked up, all nicely, heading away. The swim, it's not too bad in the heat. You get it for about 2 hours, and then you can sort of, well, I've done it before. I actually sat round there in the shade under the trees before, and then when it sort of comes back round and sort of passes, because this tree here is sort of any time about now, so whatever the time is now, it's got to be about 11:30, 12 o'clock. So I got my rods out. I sort of got here a bit earlier, got everything sorted out a little bit earlier, rang Ian, see what he thought about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do, gave him the options, and we plumbed for this. So I'm a bit sort of ahead of the game and setting up, so I want to give it until about 2 o'clock. If I haven't anything by then, I shall reel in and pop round for his swim, have a bit of lunch, and take it from there, really. Right, let's see where we go then, shall we? Let's see where we go. Well, not a bleep. I'm sitting here with my front completely unzipped, The old coffee pot's on the go. It's just gone 7 o'clock. I keep hearing and seeing fish out there, so they're about, they're active. They're just sort of not in my little zone yet. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit. I was hoping it might get on a little bit on this water, but it's obviously changed direction a little bit more and from a slightly different direction. I can feel it blowing through the back of my bivvy. So I've got the mozzie panels open and everything like that. So it's blowing around, and a few of the little grasses and things are moving. So yeah, it's all about. So there's a little bit actually there now, right in front. Let's zoom in a little bit through this. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of wind out there. If you're lucky to do it like that, you might actually see a fish show, because they have been sort of quite recently. But I'm hoping this might inspire them a little bit. There's no cloud today. It's just the wind. The cloud has not materialised today like it's done every week. As someone pointed out to me yesterday, the weather's been perfect all week. Now you're fishing, it suddenly changes to what the forecast man has been saying. It finally got it right on Friday, so it's going to be a absolute roaster. 26, 27, but the wind chill takes it down to 24, I think, so that's not too bad. As I say, this swim is quite sheltered. If it gets a little bit too hot, I'll just pop over the way and swim, reel in and head over there. But we'll see. I want to try and hang it out here until sort of 2 o'clock at least. You normally get those midday bites and things, which will be a bonus really. We'll just have to see. It's going to be a hard one, this one. It's definitely hard. Definitely going to be hard week fishing. I'll have to say, be really happy with one fish. I think it's going to be my target. Target one fish a night and may end up with 3. So, or one fish a day. So we're sort of down one. Oh, there we go. There she blows. The coffee pot is done. Right, with that, I'm off. Have a few coffees. Perfect. Well, I'm sitting here on the chair, looking out across the lake. The wind's finally starting to sort of pick up across the lake, a lot more than it was before. I think it's sort of coming up to 8 o'clock, so it's looking quite positive for a few hours before the heat gets into the day. So hopefully get one of those morning takes. Would be nice. Gotta have a coffee, unfortunately. Just gotta have a coffee. Sorts that croaky voice out. Yeah, I don't know if Ian's had anything. I haven't had any messages from him this morning. There's a guy gone on the point to my right, where he's fishing. Unfortunately, can cut the fish off from us here. Sort of got to hope that the fish are here, go for a little bit of a mooch round and settle in our sort of waters and fancy a feed. I'm in just about 4 foot of water, literally right on the edge of sort of a gravel bar, and where the silt starts. Ian's a bit obviously further to the left, in more sort of deeper water. So we've spots for fish before, sort of honing in on exactly what we want to do. I'd like to get my deeper drifting out there later on today, but if the guy's still fishing there to my right, I probably won't bother. I'll wait for him to sort of go tomorrow and just do it tomorrow, really. Don't like sort of unnecessarily disturb people, or unnecessarily sort of, I want to upset them, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, so I don't like you doing things like that. But yeah, I'm saying we're confident. We're confident we should be able to catch a fish or two. Just when and where and everything like that. And I can see myself having to sit around the corner under the trees later on today when it gets really hot. But sorry for the slurping, but it's got over really. Right, let's see where we go, really. Well, it's an absolutely gorgeous evening out here. The sun's sort of gone from my swim. It's now setting on the far bank over there. Geese are sort of trundling by. I spent the afternoon around here and swim out of the sunshine. Still all quiet on the rods. Nothing from him, nothing from me, but you're sort of waiting for the nights, really, hoping that one of them rattles off. They're sort of chatting about it this afternoon, and it's a little bit better day tomorrow, so a little bit of cloud cover around this evening, so hopefully the cloud cover will lead in tomorrow and the bright sunshine won't be out too early. But realistically, we're sort of hoping for one fish on the bank each, really. But it's nice being out here. It's so hot, sleeping at home would just be it'd just be ridiculous. So it's sort of nice in some respects to be out here, sort of cooling down nicely now. I should get a pretty reasonable night's sleep, unless I catch some fish, which I'm not going to complain about. It's what we're really here for. So you just never know, realistically, to see what tomorrow brings. If it's cloudy in the morning, there might be a chance of a fish up to lunchtime. So the wind is sort of quite I won't say strong, but a good blow this afternoon. It's from different directions, so it's nice and breezy, and I really thought something would rattle off. So I reeled in about two, didn't get them out until about 6ish. Sat round here and he left his rods out. He had a little bit of a liner 15 minutes before I sort of came back, so I hung around a little bit longer, hoping something might occur, but nothing did. So they're out there. They've been topping on and off through the day as well, which is quite impressive, really. No, don't know. We shall see. Well, morning all. Oh yeah, still no fish. This is. I knew it was going to be hard, but whoa. Such a contrast from the last couple of weeks. They obviously really don't like this heat, do they? Wind seems to be better today. It's going to be a little bit cooler today. They may well have fed over the last couple of days. We've just been a bit unlucky, but you're sort of thinking that they're gonna have to acclimatise to this heat and feed some particular point. And is it going to be today? Is it going to be tonight? Don't know. It's got me thinking cap on today. A little bit of thought into what to do. Also involves next weekend as well, because Next weekend is my last weekend for a couple of weeks. It's the start of the school holidays and sort of busy for the first week. If I come next weekend, I'm going to get similar conditions, I think, at the moment. Unless it changes, there's always a possibility it could, break by the end of the week. And if that's when it breaks, that could be the one to really definitely be here. So, don't know. Really don't know. It's a tricky one. Interesting. So take on board the information. See where we go. I might have to have a look back at the past records. The only thing for me is I slept really well, and it's lovely and cool, and you get lovely fresh bees. It's just lovely sleeping out in the open. It's absolutely gorgeous. So from that point of thing, it's beautiful. It's wonderful, enjoyable. You just lay in your bed and look at this view all the time. It's what more could you ask for, really? So from that point of view, it's thoroughly enjoyable, really. So it might be just a case of accepting that fact that these fish in these sort of shallow waters, they just don't feel up to feeding where I'm fishing, despite the fact we see them out and about, and they could be feeding on the margins and under the trees and things, which is its own set of problems which are very hard to get round. And it's like here, there's nothing really that stopped me fishing, putting a bait in the margin just down there to the left. You can see, apart from it will just disappear left and under the tree. That'll be the end of that. Same as the other rod. If it disappears to the right, it'll go straight into the trees and into a load of snags. And it's just not, I can always hope that it runs out. But I just don't. I know what these fish are like. They just love snags. They know they're forever running into them, and every opportunity possible. I think if you give them an inch, they'll take it. And I feel like I'm sort of starting by giving them that inch, by putting a bait really close to here. Same as in Ian's swim, you could possibly go a little left along that margin there, but you just know they'll just go straight back into the bay for a lot of snags, and it's not what it's all about. I know. It's not fishing at all costs for me. It's just enjoying the whole sort of process. At the moment, so the only bit of the process that's missing is the lack of a bite, which I think completely overly bothered about, to be perfectly honest with you, but we'll see. Well, I've just been looking at the weather forecast, and the winds are sort of 16, 17, 18 miles an hour through the day. It's going to take the sort of wind chill as fact. I know we don't really talk about it in the summer, but it's the same effect in the winter that it does in the summer, down to about sort of 22s. So that's not too bad. If it does carry on, it's not too bad. It looks quite pleasant out there at the moment. A little bit cooler overnight as well, because of the sort of north wind going to be blowing all through the night. So with any luck, just never know, do you, really? Just never know. You're just going to have to keep on hoping. I'm laying on the end of my bed at the night, looking at the bottom of my bivvy, really. I've seen fish crashing, sort of normal sort of areas where sort of you see fish crash when you're in the swim, so they're out and about, they're active. But the only thing really I can think of is I do have a guy to the right of me, so there's actually sort of 6 lines out on this island, and 3 of us on here. It's quite as a church mouse like the rest of us, but I don't know, maybe they just don't like it. I don't know, you just never know. They are fully aware of what's going on in their surroundings, so could be as straightforward as that. Don't know. I've often wondered that before when I've had someone fishing at the end and I've not caught. Their lines are sort of going out. It's quite shallow water up there. It's like 2.5, 3 foot. The line's going across there, and if they're quite tight, because they go across a couple of channels where the fish come through, maybe they're just a little bit more cautious. And it's not, it's 20, 30 yards away from me. They're just maybe just a little bit more cautious and go out towards the island a little bit more and keep out of the sort of the gully that I'm fishing in. The problem is, if I go out a little bit further, I've tried it before, you can go up that little gravelly slope that I'm fishing at the bottom of. And if I go up that, what generally happens is the fish just pick the bait up and just run straight over the top of it and then into the next gully and then head left or right, and I'm round a boulder and it's the end of that, which is just, it's just not, you're fishing for bites, and you don't fish for bites, we fish for carp on the bank. So don't like that method at all, realistically. And I use quite strong line in the first place, but it's still not, it's not for that. It's just for the playing the fish and around the boulders and things that we get here. I don't like getting cut off. If they bounce off the hooks and things like that, it's not an issue. It's one of them things we live with. But I just like parting lines and fish trailing stuff around. I think Ian came across a trailer last week. I was talking to him yesterday about it, and he was saying that on the last night he had a few bleeps on one rod and then a few bleeps on the next rod. So it's got some sort of trailing fish around. So that's not ideal either. So I don't sort of advocate that style of fishing whatsoever. So we shall see. We'll see how the day goes. Right, I'll catch up with you later. Right, I'm back in my swim. I'm spending a few hours in Ian's swim, and a bit of lunch and a bite to eat and a couple of glasses of wine and a bit of chat. One of the other syndicate members popped by for a chat. It's about 4:30, 4:45, a bit later than I'd planned, but it don't matter. It's joyful and lovely to be out here, and love it, really, absolutely love it. So what we're going to do now is get the old rods back out on the spot and everything, and take it from there. Let's just up the angle of that thingy so we can just get a better view, and yeah, we'll see how we get on, really. It's interesting, really, because I've been sort of playing around with ideas about fishing the back of the wind and fishing into the wind. So this weekend, mainly because of the sun, really, I'm sort of having to be at the back of the wind. I wouldn't fancy being over the other side at all in the slightest. I think it'd just be completely evil, really. But you have to do what you got to do, and you have to work with what you got to work with. And I'm fair skinned, so sitting in the sun is just not going to be any good for me. So it's either that or sitting at home. So we're clearly not going to do that. We've got to get out here trying to catch them fish, and you just never know where these big lumps are going to occur. So just got to keep on going, really. Right, let's get these rods out. What I've been doing recently is I sort of flick them out and like to sort of pull them back just a little tiny bit. You can feel the softer silt. I don't want the thicker stuff, because that's where the fish don't seem to be. I've got to position this right. I've got to look up as well to make sure I get my line through the tree in the right place, otherwise I catch a leaf, which we don't want to do we? That's a good range, that's a good range. Good range. Let's get that tip up. And let's see what we can. Just pull gently. There you go. Look at that. Just pull gently through the silk, which is what we want. Slacken it off a little bit, not too much. I've got to keep the lines fairly tight at the moment, so I can see where it's going. in relationship to the other rod. Right, let's get that other rod on going. We're going to have an old pink lead I found, but I've been not using them very often. But give me a bit more visual of where it's going to be. Honest with you, I've been dropping a few leads recently, so I had to lose it. Well, ain't a problem, is it really? Not the best way of thinking, but it isn't really. Yeah, so okay, let's get this on the spot. Hopefully tonight it's a little bit more action, because that the eye to the right of me is gone now. Hopefully make a little bit of difference out there. It's quite strange considering the result I got last week of that line tight. The result I got last week. That's it's too buried in the sill. Maybe a bit further. What I've got out there is there's a gravel bar that leads up and over to the island, so I want to be sort of at the bottom of that gravel bar. The swim's a bit tight, so it's quite hard to clip up. If you use sticks, you have to sort of use them at 6 foot, so you've got to use sort of double, but I'm sort of got used to now what the range I've got to do out of here. That sort of 19 wraps. It's a reasonable punch with a 3-ounce lead. Just absolutely perfect. Sometimes I'm just off just a little bit, and I need to be a little bit further. That's better. That's a little bit further. Need to be that just a little bit further. I don't want to be on the gravel. I want to be on that light silt. There you go. Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I like to get finicky. I like my spools to be in the right place, so I loosen my clutch off quite a lot. What you've got to be careful with here is if you have the clutches too loose, you literally can overrun the clutch and you can end up with a total boil on the, you end up with a bird's nest really. Let's clip that down. Let's just check. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect too. Yeah. Not fussy, I have to have my reel handlers in the right place. But no, that is good. Everything's on the spot, on the money. All I can hope for is it pays off tonight, really. All we can hope for. And yeah, one of these two rattles off, and yeah, we get some. You get a fish. One fish is all I want. What I really like is one fish for me, one fish for Ian, because it's been a hard few days, really. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, I must admit, but I was hoping for a little bit better than this. As I said, you can't predict where other people go, so if someone wants to get the right of you, they want to go for the right of you. I'm not saying it's his fault or anything, and the way it goes, I think he was obviously come from that swim. He hadn't been down here for about a year, and he's just, you're like coming back to something and where you can cast to and things like that, but I don't think it helped him, me or Ian, realistically. I think the fish sort of just drifted out a little bit further from this area. What I'm hoping for is I haven't put any more bait out, I haven't done anything, I've just left it there as it is, and they'll sort of drift in, they'll find it. That flake maize will still be out there, the classic corn boilies will still be out there, and you just never... Well, it's about 5:20. Looks absolutely gorgeous out there. Just the noise of the world, just peaceful and quiet, and the wildlife just about pick up. The noise of the road, there isn't many cars, it's just the pigeons, the geese, everything just out there. A little bit of mist on the water. It's absolutely gorgeous. I do have coffee pot on the boil, so that's going to suddenly burst into life in a minute. But yeah, peaceful night for me. Single bleep. But I'm not going to... I have no regrets about where I'm fishing, because I just couldn't survive by the other side in that heat whatsoever, so I've got to be over here, really. It is what it is, you know. It's one of two things: I either don't come fishing, or I'm over here. So I'd clearly rather be coming fishing, so I'm going to have to be over here and live with the result. You know, it's enjoyable, lovely, and I'm not going to complain about being on the bank. It's absolutely gorgeous. You know, you can just sit here watching. This is amazing, beautiful. The mist on the water, the odd fish still sort of crashing and showing around. Yeah, I'm totally convinced there's still fish out mooching around my swim, but I don't know, it's not completely plain ball either, so there's a bit of a mixture of both. Bad swim selection, really hot, really high pressure, but so this swimmer the swim Ian is in, it's you just have to suffer about 2 or 3 hours of real direct sunlight and heat, and then beyond that it's beautiful. It's lovely, cool and shady this morning. I'm not, you know, if you'd been over on the gravel swim where we are on the other side, you'd be in the sunshine now, slowly but surely warming up. You know, I actually had to put a jacket on. It's actually chilly over this side, and I haven't got any shoes on my feet, and my feet are pretty cold. The perch are crashing around in me underneath the tree. But it's enjoyable. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. Got another few hours left to go. Let's zoom right out. There we go. Me sitting inside the bivvy. You see the curve of the bivvy there, which unfortunately is broken again. But there we go. Unfortunately, I don't make them anymore. So it's the old original Fox Reflex. Lovely bivvy, fantastic bit of kit. Obviously, having a little bit of problems with the poles at the moment. Just have to see where we go from there. Not a lot I can do. There's a heron off the side of the island. I should have. That would have been a good bit of lovely little bit of film there. It's just taken off and flown off and going over the far side. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so I should try and do another fix on this. There's nothing wrong with the bivvy apart from the poles, so it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, oh well, it is what it is. But it is lovely out there, absolutely lovely. Sit and watch that all morning. Well, I do, don't I? Really. Zoom in a little bit more. It sort of looks a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely. I could have that as a wallpaper on my computer and just keep me happy. Dreaming of everything. I sense my percolator is just going to go off, so I've got a couple of hours. We'll give it a go, and fingers crossed we get a saving grace and one of these rattle off. Radio. Well, there we go. Camp is down for another week. Rods are on the ground. yeah, one of them, innit? Haven't had one for a while, but that's definitely a blank. We came, we tried, we failed on that front, but on enjoyment and sociability, I had a fantastic time. Really good time. I haven't seen Ian. I was supposed to be here this morning yet, so fingers crossed he might have actually got something, which would be good to see. Hopefully he took some pictures. Send those across to me would be great. But doesn't that look wonderful? What a place to fish, isn't it? It's absolutely perfect, magical, and yeah, colourful. It's unbelievable. It's going to be another hot one. There's a little bit of cloud in the distance, but yeah, old pike are back after the perch, or the perch are back after the perch. There's a carp on the top over there, just cruising around. That's up above my bait, which is slightly frustrating. I've even had a few slightly crash out there. A couple crashed to the sort of slightly to the left of the end of the island, which is where I was putting bait last week and didn't catch anything. Makes you wonder. Really does make you wonder. But yeah, it is what it is. So I say something else just topped out over there as well. So there about that is on top of a bar. In fact, I might even zoom in on that one and see what we can see. Don't know if it's going to do it again. It's going along the sort of top of the bar it was, which I can't fish that. But if I do fish it, they just run over the back of the bar and straight down and find a boulder. As I said yesterday, you just end up losing fish, and it's just not worth it. Not worth the aggro of all that. So we're going to give it to 8:30, which is about another 15 minutes, and just sort of 8:30 reeling and take it from there really. Let's just slowly zoom out a little bit more. There we go, back to my beautiful swim. Anyway, yes, should be back down again next week. Next week is the last one, unless the weather forecast is right, it is 32, 34 degrees and things like that. Then I won't bother. I'll have 3 weeks off and then come back, and sort of early or sort of late July, early August, do that really. Just see, it's just about bearable, and 26s with a bit of a sort of couple of degrees drop because of the wind blowing from the north, northeast, northwest. But anything above that, I think that's just going to not be worth bothering with really, not in the slightest. So hey ho, that was what it was really. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I hope you have better luck than me. Happens to us all at some point.